Good morning. Thank you all for joining us for the very first town council meeting in Fort Mill ever by audio. We certainly remain in uncharted territory with the pandemic and emergency conditions. Out of respect for each other and those that are required to leave their homes to serve us all, we are meeting by phone, and this particular form of meeting was put into ordinance last week by our council so that we could indeed continue the town's business even in these troubling times. So with that, we're calling the meeting to order. I will do a roll call. I do believe we have with us our town manager, Davy Broom, our assistant manager, Chris Pettit. We have our town attorney, Barry Mack, and we have all council members. When we are voting or making comments or questions in regards to the agenda items, we will do a roll call and announce ourselves. Virginia, are you on the line?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hi, Virginia.
Good morning.
Glad to have everyone today, and thank you all for the hard work to ensure that we can continue to do the work in a legal and an open way for our community. Let's all collectively say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all. Ronnie, would you like to pray for us?
Glad to. Father, as we come before you today, we thank you for your many blessings. We thank you for being with us during these trying times. We pray that you would be with us today, guide us, direct us, help us, and keep us safe. Help us with the wisdom that only you can give so that we can conduct our business the way it should be conducted at these trying times. We give you praise and all. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Again, we're working in a very uncommon, unusual, and unprecedented way so that we can conduct the business of the town, and we will throughout this particular emergency that we remain in, continue to do this work in a manner that we can share with our community what we are doing, and we will be able to receive and read emails from those that have questions in regards to our agenda that we need to address, and we'll do that at the after we have passed through our business items. So, council members, you have received the minutes of the March 9th, 2020 meeting. Do we have any changes, any deletions, or any additions? Let's do the roll call. Larry, do you have any?
No.
Larry.
I'll vote in favor of the minutes.
Okay. Jamie Shirey, Councilman Jamie Shirey, do you have any changes?
I have no changes, and I second Larry's motion to pass.
Okay. Lisa Cook, do you have any changes or deletions or additions?
No changes. Approved motion.
Okay. Ronnie Helms, do you have any additions, deletions, or changes?
I have none. I vote to approve.
Okay. Chris Moody, Councilman Chris Moody, do you have any changes, deletions, or additions?
No, I move to approve as well.
Okay. And Trudy Henshaw, do you have any changes, deletions?
I have no changes or deletions, and I vote to approve as well.
Okay. And as Mayor Gwen Savage, I also have no changes, deletions, or additions, and vote to approve the minutes of the March 9th, 2020 meeting. Virginia, do you have that as the unanimous vote?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. Currently on our agenda, we have no presentation. We have 2 old business items that we will now address. We will continue to use the form of a motion in a second, and any discussion will occur after that, and then we will take a roll call vote. Old business item number 1, second reading. An ordinance amending the zoning map of the town of Fort Mill so as to change the zoning designation for York County tax map numbers 0202001 036, 0201301 075, and 0202001 034 from R15 residential to institutional. This affects wards 1 and 4. Our subject matter expert is the town senior planner, Penelope Karagunas. And is Penelope on the call?
Yes, I am, Mayor.
Thank you for joining us this morning, Penelope. Council members, do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept new business, our old business item number 1.
I'll second that.
Jamie
This is
Shirey.
Trudy.
And that's Trudy with a second. So we have Jamie Shirey with a motion to approve and Trudy Heemsaw with a second. Do we have any questions for Penelope other than I have the one question, has anything changed since the first reading?
No, ma'am, nothing has changed.
Okay. Council members, do you have questions?
So we did
All right.
not approve institutional on the last vote, correct?
No, this one we did approve. This was for actual property that the school owns.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Wrong
That
institution.
is correct. These are the last, elementary 10 and 11, and a small portion that we found of a school property next to Riverview Elementary. So those are the 3 parcels that we are rezoning school properties to be institutional.
Gotcha. I'm sorry.
And I think because we do not have a monitor to show those that might be listening to this later, we probably need to do a small description, Penelope, as you just did. So thank you so much. As we get through how to do this the most effectively, I appreciate your patience. So does everyone understand what the second reading of this particular ordinance is? Okay, hearing no questions, we have a motion on the table to approve it and a second. Mr. Huntley, Councilman Huntley, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Jamie Shirey, Councilman Shirey, how do you vote?
I vote to approve.
Councilman Cook, how do you vote?
To approve?
Okay. Councilman Helms, how do you vote?
Approve.
Thank you. Councilman Moody, how do you vote?
Approve.
And Councilman Heemsaw, how do you vote?
To approve.
As mayor, I also vote to approve. So, Virginia, we have a unanimous vote to approve the second reading of old business item number 1. We'll now move to old business item number 2, second reading. An ordinance amending the zoning ordinance for the town of Fort Mill, Article 1, in general, Section 8, Transportation Impact Analysis, subsection F, Transportation Mitigation Agreement, to provide for a public hearing and to provide other matters relating thereto. Do I have a motion? And if you make the motion, please announce who you are and then what your motion will be.
Councilman Shirey to approve old business item number 2.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion. Thank you. I have a motion and a second. A motion from Councilman Shirey and a second from Councilman Helms. Do we have someone that would like to speak to this from town staff?
Yes, Penelope's here. I have no additional changes to this text amendment. This is a text amendment. amending the mitigation agreement. There's a section in there to allow all applicable parties when we review traffic studies.
Okay, wonderful. Any questions for Penelope, Council? Hearing none. Councilman Huntley, how do you vote on the motion to approve the second reading of old business item number 2 on transportation mitigation?
I vote to approve.
Thank you. Councilman Shirey, how do you vote?
To approve.
Thank you. Councilman Cook, how do you vote?
To approve.
Thank you. Councilman Helms, how do you vote?
Approve.
Thank you. Councilman Moody, how do you vote? Councilman Moody, how do you vote? We may have lost
Approve.
audio with, okay, thank you. Councilman Keemsall, how do you vote?
To approve.
Thank you. That is a unanimous. I will also, as mayor, vote to approve old business item number 2. Therefore, it is a unanimous vote on the second reading. Virginia, do you have that?
Yes, I do.
Thank you very much. We have no new business items. Manager Davey Broom, do we have any public comments submitted in writing for staff?
Mayor, I do not have any. Virginia, have you received any?
I have not. No.
Okay, I think this is all very new to us and to our public, and it will take, perhaps another meeting before, and hopefully we will have something occur that will relieve us of the action to do this audibly. But in the meantime, again, we are working audibly so that we can provide the respect to our staff and to each other to do social distancing and to stay at home during this time of emergency within our country, not just our community, but within our country and our world. So we are working to do our part to ensure that our staff, our administration, and those that are required to work to continue the services to our community are protected. I guess at this point, Manager Broom, do you have anything you would like to present to council?
Mayor, I just wanted to make council aware that we as staff we'll have a 10 a.m. conference call today, like we have been every day over the past week. I will be discussing with the department heads the plan they put together for non-essential staff members working from home, possible skeleton crews moving forward, just making sure we can provide the services that we continue to provide to our residents and customers with staff. So I will send an update later today as to what those plans look like. We could implement some of those for any non-essential staff as early as right after the conference call meeting. Others could be implemented as early as tomorrow.
Wonderful. Again, I don't want to be the only one speaking on the call, but our community and our town staff have taken great measures to address the health concerns and the work that is needed for all of us to get through this safely. I would like to extend my thanks to all employees, essential and non-essential, because to us they're all essential. That is a technical term reserved for those that are absolutely required for the function of our town to continue to move forward. We are making it available to many of our employees to work from home so that we can continue our work. Many members of our community have seen, I think we've all seen dramatic changes in how we do our work and how we approach everyday life. We have reached out and assisted where possible to the businesses on Main Street to ensure that people can safely continue to pick up food from restaurants or do business as needed, but in a safe manner. We know that this is difficult and hard times for all. We're doing our part to ensure that the water continues to flow, the sewers continue to work, our police force is in full operation, our fire and first responders are in full operation. We're doing everything possible to ensure that those required services remain available to our community. Our staff has been working around the clock to have not only conference calls inside the town with each other to share information, but with the local, state, county, and federal operations. We absorb every ounce of information we possibly can to ensure that we're doing what's available to us in this time to continue our operations and to stay abreast of the information that's made available. With that, the best thing I saw this past week was the sign from a medical worker that said, I came in to work for you. You stay home for me. I think those that are required to work deserve the respect that we all need to give them, and to do everything we can to not to practice good social distancing. And if you don't have to leave your home, please don't. This hopefully, the more that we can adhere to the guidelines provided to us, hopefully the quicker this will pass. So with that, I will go to Councilman Huntley. Do you have anything good for the whole?
Excuse me, I have two comments. Number one, I thought this little procedure, it really went over well. I'm very proud of it. The second thing, these times to bring out the good and bad people in people. And I had gone on down to Dollar General Friday morning when the old people can go in to get a few essential items. And a lady in front of me had two big bundles of toilet paper. And she said, "Did you come to get toilet paper?" I said, "No." She said, "Well, here, have one of mine anyway." And she gave me one of those big bundles of toilet paper. And I just thought that was a nice gesture.
That was extremely nice. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Councilman Shirey.
I just want to make sure that we are keeping not just our Main Street merchants, but all the businesses that we have in our area in the loop, so that when we do come out the other side of this crisis, that they are in a position to come as a rebound. We've all worked very hard to keep bring our Main Street back from the dead, and they need our support and to know that we are keeping the lights on and services operating as everything that in our power to keep them successful and poised and to be successful when we do bounce back. The other thing I wanted to do, if we could all reach out to our constituents in Columbia and up in DC, a lot of our local municipalities and state municipalities run on a balanced budget referendum, and with a lot of the private sector employees that are now going to be going to the unemployment line until things turn about, the last thing we need is to have a bunch of government employees moving into the unemployment line when it's unnecessary, just because of that mandate of running a balanced budget. So if we can reach out to them and see if they could put a waiver on that until we come out to the backside. That doesn't mean that the municipalities can go bananas and buy a bunch of stuff, but that just means that it doesn't mean that we would have to lay people off because of our tax revenue dropping because of the businesses not paying tax for their revenue. Modern technology is a wonderful thing. I think this is the coolest thing from sliced bread, being able to call in and communicate and be the business of the town, and everybody stay safe. And I'm praying for everybody. I'm praying for the town. We'll get through this together. We always do.
Thank you,
that is all.
Jamie. Thank you, Councilman Shirey. Councilman Cook?
I don't have anything, but thank you. Everybody, please stay safe.
Thank you. Councilman Helms.
Appreciate the call the other day, checking on me. I'm about to wear this thing down, but feeling a lot better. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate everything that the town's doing and all our staff.
Thank you. Councilman Moody.
Thank you, everybody, for putting this little bridge together. And that's about all I have. We'll get through all this.
Thank you. Councilman Heensall.
Yes, ma'am. I have a question for Davey, please. And I think we addressed it before, but I just want to confirm that when he was talking a little earlier about essential and non-essential employees being not working there at the office, they will still receive a paycheck if they are at home. And I understood when we talked about that before, his answer was yes. And I was just, as he was saying that, I was thinking about it and just wanted to verify that.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. We are, again, working with our labor attorney to make sure we're following proper procedures, but yes, everyone will continue to be paid.
Okay. And since none of this is the fault of any of us, I just hate for one or more of our employees to get in a bind because, through no fault of their own. So thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
And a comment to that hopefully, anyone that chooses to hear this particular council meeting via Channel 19 or the other means that we make it available, I think we have been very prudent as a community, if not so in sometimes maybe more prudent than I would like. We don't have a lot of non-essential employees. The town has never in its history gone forward and hired a tremendous number of employees that aren't required to do the work of the town, because we understand that we are all paid by the taxpayer. Therefore, we want to use our fiduciary responsibility to ensure that we're not spending money unnecessarily. So we don't have a huge number of non-essential employees. In this time, we are putting the health and safety of our community, our employees, first. We have altered schedules. We have changed what work we are addressing to ensure that the health and safety comes first. But we are also continuing to serve our community by doing the work that is required from our day-to-day business as well. So as our staff members are working either from home or in person, we are doing double the work that we normally would do. And I thank everyone, for their patience, their adherence to the guidelines and practices that have been given to us to ensure that we can continue that work. Patience is going to be something that we all are going to be stretched by, because these are times none of us, even the oldest of us, have not seen like this. So I too am praying for our community, our staff, and each and every one of you. As we go through this, I pray that you remain healthy. I know that some of us are having the pollen and spring issues that we typically have. We could scare anybody these days with a cough. So, do practice those measures as if you had the virus to protect others. It's better to be cautious than sorry. And I am so grateful for each and every one of you as council members for putting that first and doing the work that you have done to ensure that each ordinance that we had to draft to be able to do business this way and other practices, you've come, you've met, you've signed those ordinances. Hopefully there'll be a treatment or a cure found quickly, and we will exit this as better people for the experience. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make that motion.
Councilwoman Henshaw has made a motion to adjourn.
Councilman Shary seconds.
Thank you. Councilman Huntley, how do you vote?
I vote to approve.
Thank you. Councilman Cook, how do you vote?
I vote to approve.
Thank you. Councilman Helms, how do you vote?
Approved.
Thank you. Councilman Moody, how do you vote?
Approve.
Thank you. And I also approve. May God's blessings go with you throughout today and each day forward. We will meet again as needed and as scheduled until we are given the clear to do so in person. Thank you, staff, for making this available to us. All of you have a good day. Thank you.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.